Welcome to the Toronto Real Estate Market Update. I'm Alex Kluge from Toronto Home Experts, and I'm here to dive into the numbers for August 2020. Now, as we know, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and we essentially saw very little sales activity for April and May. So our spring market was really pushed into the summer months. So June, especially July and August, we saw a huge uptick in sales activity. And that's primarily because there's pent up demand. Like we really couldn't do much in April and May. And so really we saw a huge push. So just bear that in mind when you're reviewing some of these numbers, and I'll kind of go through what they mean. But some of the numbers, when you're comparing from May to August, from 2019 to May 2020 to August 2020, you're going to see the numbers are a little bit skewed. So, August 2020 is not a normal August month for real estate sales. Like typically August is a slower month, especially in the summertime. A lot of people are away on holidays, and a lot of the listings get pushed onto September. So August is not a great month to compare to, and you're going to see the startling difference from August 19 to August 20. Okay. So sales activity, which is an important metric to know the overall health of the real estate market, up 40%. Like, wow, right? You're like, well, this is unbelievable. And it is. It is truly unbelievable to see this kind of sales activity for August. And really comparing it to August past, this is the best August in recent memory. And so, as I said, it's not a normal month. Like this is really what I would still call the delayed spring market. Like as we talked about back in April and May, like this really is what we're seeing now for August. So sales activity is up significantly, which is great. So obviously there's confidence in the market. Ultra low interest rates are driving people to purchase real estate, and also change of lifestyle. The pandemic has really saw people decide, well, maybe I'm going to upsize because I need more space, or maybe I want to move closer to family, whatever the case may be. So it's really great to see that we've had a very healthy August, and that bodes well for the fall market, which I'll get to shortly. Okay, active listings, another important metric. Now, if you look at active listings, they're only up 5%, but where were sales, right? Like sales are up 40%, but active listings are only up 5%, which shows a lot of the existing inventory was absorbed, meaning there is confidence in the market to actually purchase what's on the market. Whereas typically in August, it would be a little bit of a lull. And a lot of buyers are on the sidelines. As I mentioned, they're on holidays, or they're going to wait for the fall market, which is traditionally a very healthy and great time to transact, whether you're selling or buying. New listings. So new listings is up 56.8%. And you might say, my goodness, this is unbelievable. Like this is and it is, it's a pretty impressive number, but typically what happens in a real estate market in August is there's not a lot of new listing inventory that comes on the market. Typically what we see is the leftover product from June or July that has yet not sold and is still on the market. Whereas this year, it was a complete opposite. There was a real push to get listings on the market in August because of the delayed spring market, and really great to see that kind of activity. And that's really why we're seeing these numbers. So again, take it with a grain of salt, and don't take, you have to really compare. You can't compare August 2019 to August 2020, but that's the rationale behind the numbers that we're seeing right now. Average price. Okay, again, startling, up 20%. Unbelievable. Does that mean that every property in the GTA has gone up 20%? No, it does not. It's as I mentioned last month, average price takes a basket of homes that were transacted during that month and taken the average of those homes that were transacted during that month and compare it to the different basket of homes that sold during August 2019. So we knew the numbers were going to be up significantly from 2019 because, again, you have to compare what the basket of homes is. And I'm using basket as a term, but it's really, you're not comparing apples to apples here. So what I find super interesting is that the average price for Toronto proper, so City of Toronto 416, was over $1 million, which is amazing. And so that's showing an overall health that we're seeing as well, that the average price is up. Now, average prices, or I would say the market overall, is probably up now somewhere around 7% from where it was last year. And that's using the HPI, which is a house price index that the Toronto Real Estate Board uses. And it's a more scientific approach to valuing where the market's at, as opposed to just taking, average properties or properties that are sold during that month, taking an average, which is not a very scientific way of looking at it, whereas the HPI is a lot more accurate, in my opinion. So prices are up, which is great. Again, low mortgage rates, change in lifestyle, and people are really looking to make transactions before the fall hits, because school starts and families want to get settled before that happens. But one thing I want to mention too, before I get into the next slide, is there's been a lot of talk about a mass exodus from the 416, so Toronto, and moving out to the 905, or even further out. And so a lot of people are asking, well, does that mean prices are down in Toronto? They're not. And actually, it's not true. There's not a mass exodus certainly in Toronto, in central Toronto and North York. I mean, there's still record low inventory, which is showing that properties are selling quickly, and especially freeholds. Like if you're looking at downtown, east, west, central, properties are selling at days on market is really, really low. For downtown, it's like 14 days, which is amazing low, and compared to years past, it's at a low. So, but the one thing is, the condo market has slowed down a little bit. Prices aren't down, but units are taking longer to sell, and I think it's just because we've seen essentially a pause on office work, so people going into their offices downtown. But once, I think early 2021, when our offices are starting to open up again, I think we're going to see that days on market really shrink for condo market, especially downtown. Okay, so days on market, just like I was talking about, down 32%. So again, August is typically a slower month, so days on market tends to increase through the summer. So usually you see the lowest days on market in May and June, and then it starts to creep up July and August, and then goes back down in September. So again, this is really not, this is like the spring market, so to speak, in August, which is why we're seeing record low days on market, and not entirely surprising that it is down significantly from where it was last year. Now, what'll be interesting to see is where the days on market lands for September. So, because then we're really comparing a fall market to a fall market, and interesting to see what's gonna happen in that month, because we're comparing more of a traditional market month, September, to traditional market month, September 2020. Okay, so months of inventory. I love this stat, because it really shows whether we're in a seller's market, a balanced market, or buyer's market. And unsurprisingly, it's down again. So we're at 1.7 months of inventory, which is really tilted towards a seller's market. So that shows there's not a lot of inventory available for sale. Buyers are snapping things up, and ultimately sellers are. The market's showing that there's not a lot of inventory to satisfy the demand for buyers. That's really what this is saying. And 2.4 for August 2019, like a normal August summer month, is actually quite low. So we're really, really showing that the market's healthy, buyers are back, and they're taking advantage of the ultra low interest rates that I think is really driving the market right now. So as always, if you have any questions or want further details, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We'd be happy to have a one-on-one consultation with you to let you know how these numbers affect you and your desire to either purchase or sell property. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again next month.